Hi, everybody. It's Marcy from wavesofcommunication.com. And I'm here with another video today to explain about the language facilitation zone. What is the language facilitation zone and why is it so important for any parent who is interested in finding their child's natural speech? Why it's really important that you understand this concept. Now, I just did this. I've been doing a little class on my Facebook group. If you haven't joined yet, look in the description of this video. There is a link to my Facebook group if you're a Facebooker. And in there, I am doing right now, we just finished day 5 of a 7-day class that I did for free in my group to get parents giving you a jump start on your language facilitation journey. There still is one more day to be able to join, and anybody who does join that class and follows along and shows me that they're interested has the opportunity to get a $1,000 scholarship. So in my lifetime program to work with me as a client. So in my program, in that little week, we talked about this concept, this language facilitation zone, and why it is really the secret to teaching your child how to communicate without prompting them, how to get them to understand the words, how to learn the words that they want to learn. And that's what's necessary. See, that's the trick of teaching children to communicate using language facilitation. We're not teaching them the words that we think or want or expect for them to say. We are teaching them the words that they want to say, because those are the words that they're going to be motivated to want to try hard to say. And if your child is late talking, there's a reason they're late talking, and they're having to overcome that reason. So the only way we can overcome challenges in our life is if we try hard using the right action to solve those problems in our life. And for late talkers, their problem is that they don't know how to use the words that are in the language that you're trying to teach them. They don't have access to those words or that language. They might understand it. They might know what you mean. They might even be very prompt dependent or prompt avoidant, because they understand what's going on, but they, for some reason or another, their system hasn't developed where they have access to be able to use those tools, use those words that they know, that they have memorized or that they've learned from therapy or from you or from TV or from wherever they've learned those words by listening to them over and over and over again. In most cases, they learn those words and then they don't know the other things. Like, they just learn these certain words, but the actual things that they want to talk, they don't have the language for. That's usually the biggest problem, especially with older late talkers, maybe who have needs-based language. They're very good at letting you know what they want and what they need when they want and need it. Every child is good at that. They may not be using spoken language, but they are using their own combination of communication behaviors. Some of them may be saying words, others may be tantrums, dragging you, bringing you things, all of that. So we know that children are communicating non-verbally all day, every day. And we know that they would be saying words if they could, if they knew how to use language, but they don't. They don't. And that's why they're not. And that's why you're stuck, because that's the situation that's happening. So what I have found with families, and what typically happens in your speech therapy situation, is that someone will give you a series of words to teach to your child. They'll tell you, teach them all the colors, all the shapes, all the numbers, all the things like that, words again to memorize. And they'll teach you to teach them the words for the things that they need. Like, if they like cookie, then they'll learn the word for cookie. They will learn those words whether you teach them with any targeted way or not. Just if you talk about those things while you give those things to your child, they will eventually learn how to say a single word to get what they want, because they know that's what you expect. Over and over and over, you've prompted and trained and taught them to do that. But again, all of that stuff that you're doing to teach your child those words to get those things that they want, that's not their words. Those are the words that you're teaching them. You see them doing a thing, reaching for the cookies, and you say, "Oh, cookie, you want a cookie? Say cookie, this is a cookie." And then you're teaching them that. Now, everybody, every speech therapist everywhere, every parent everywhere uses this technique to teach kids to use words because it's easier for them to request these things using words. But there is so much more communication that's going on in between that cookie request or the iPad request or the time that they went to go run out the door because they didn't know how to ask you, or they wanted to go and it was time to go and they didn't ask you at all, right? All of those things that your child is communicating, they also are opportunities for you to teach language, not just that one time that your child is bringing you the cookies. And in fact, even the times when you are having to guide your child through something like you need to give up your iPad, or it's time to go bye-bye, or it's time to go to bed. Anytime you're transitioning them through activities, trying to guide them into anything, all of the things that you go through life, when you get dressed, every minute of every day, there is nonverbal communication going on if you're doing something with your child in the same place at the same time in the same present moment, right? That's when you're communicating. When your child is on their own doing their own thing and you're on your own doing their own thing, you may be in your own zone, right? Because your focus, the zone is where your focus is. And if your focus is in one place with your own intention, with your own idea, and your child's focus is in another place, I say energetic place, another idea is going on in their head, your idea, their idea don't match, then even the nonverbal communication your child is trying to do with you, you're not getting it. The communication is breaking down because perhaps you're too focused on teaching your child for the things that you can see and not teaching them for the things that you understand but you can't see. And this is where the zone comes in, okay? So teaching your child to talk and use spontaneous language always requires that they learn their words. That's why we talk spontaneously. Otherwise, it's a prompted response. Say this, or I know you said that, but say it again. Or, anytime you ask a child to say words, it is prompted. The language we're looking for is the language that comes out on its own. Now, the goal to use this strategy is that you have to find yourself in a place, right? It's an energetic place. It's a mindset place that I'm talking about here, not a place in your house, a place where you and your child are connected so deeply with the same activity, focused on the same idea. And in this moment that your child is listening to you. And in this moment, when you're in the zone, what's amazing and the magic about it is that when you're there, the right words to say to your child automatically come to you because you are focused on your child, or you're focused with your child on the same thing that you're both thinking about. And you're so connected with your child that you understand how they feel, if they're engaged, if they're understanding that same activity with you. Now, for many late talking kids, especially older ones, they learn quickly how to get out of your zone, if you're setting up a zone where you want to teach them, this zone is where all the learning happens, okay? Where you and your child are focused on the same activity at the same time. If you're trying to teach them anything, that's required, right? Both of you learning. How is the child going to learn from you if they're not paying attention and focused on the thing that you're saying intentionally with their focus, their conscious focus, right? But when you are present, and I should say, when you are present in the moment and you're both focusing on that thing, that same idea, you and your child are sharing the same idea. And when you're doing that and you're consciously focused on every action you're taking through that activity, not the end, but the means to the end. Every moment of every step of every activity you're focused on, not let's hurry up and get this done so we can go. All this hurry up and get this done is an interaction with your child that offers you the opportunity to teach them functional language. But most parents are too worried about the end to communicate the language for the means, right? Cookie, 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 but the I want and why you even want a cookie in the first place, nobody talks about that language because you're just focused on your intent to teach your child. Because when you're in the present moment, you are not thinking about the past or the future. But if you are prompting your child in the present moment, you know your child wants a cookie because they're standing there holding the cookie, and you're ignoring your child's already completed request by stopping the joint idea of I want a cookie and replacing it with your idea of just say cookie. And your child's idea is just give it to me, and your idea is no, you got to say it first. It's not the same idea. It's not the same focus. And when that happens over and over again, your child will repeatedly leave the zone because they don't like it. You're not on the same wavelength. Your idea is different than their idea. Their idea is give me cookie. Your idea is say a word, and then I'll give you cookie. Child doesn't care about then. They care about now. So when you're facilitating language with your child in the zone, you talk about what is happening now in the zone, not even 2 steps later. Just right now. How does your child see? What are they seeing? What are they feeling? What are they hearing? What are they sensing now? Their idea. Joining their idea in the zone, then you're doing the same idea and you can facilitate the same language and your child can learn the same thing. But if you're not in the same zone, if you're in your own zone and your child's in their own zone, the language learning's not happening because you're teaching. You might even be doing the same activity, but your head is in your teaching zone and your child's end is your I can't wait to get out of here zone, okay? That's what I'm talking about, zone. You might be in the same physical place doing the same physical activity and you have a completely different idea about it than your child does. Here's another example. I gave this example in the class. Let's say you're having dessert with your whoever, one other person, and you're sharing a piece of chocolate cake. And you go to the restaurant and you say, wait, they say we have our special chocolate cake today. And they deliver the chocolate cake with 2 forks, and you and your friend both take a bite of the chocolate cake. But you realize after you take a bite of the chocolate cake that it's bitter chocolate, it's dark chocolate, right? And your friend loves dark chocolate, but you do not. Both of you in the same moment ate the cake at the same time, but you had a different experience. Your idea in the next moment, same moment, both of us dipping our fork, both of us putting it in our mouth, but your other person had a different experience. The next moment changed. And what a lot of people do is they stay in that moment even after the moment passes. And they're like, what about? No, I'm disappointed now because I anticipated when you put your fork in there, you anticipated it was going to taste a certain way and you were disappointed. Your friend anticipated it was going to taste a certain way and she was excited because her expectation was matched. Yours was not. So if you're in the same moment with your child and you're talking about the thing that your child, the message that your child is conveying to you, it's not necessarily an outward need thing. It could be just a feeling, an opinion, an idea, a whatever about you or about something in your environment. So if your child is getting your attention, coming to you to get your attention about something, they want to share their idea with you. Your best bet always is to follow your child's idea. Then you're going to get into their zone where you're sharing the same idea, not the same outward activity, the same inward idea. That's the zone. And that's how you're going to know the right words to teach your child, because you're going to look at them and you're going to see how they feel and you're going to experience the same thing at the same time. So this is how we do this achieved state, this zone that we get in. Some people call it presence. Some people call it's the place that you go when you pray, when you doodle, when you zone out, when you daydream, when you are in your own little world. Right? That's the zone. And everybody has one. Everybody has that space where we are completely 100% focused on our activity until something from the outside world distracts us away from it. And then we're not in our focus zone. We can't get our best outcome because we're distracted by another idea that someone else has. And so you might move and focus on that new idea if you like it, but if it's not appealing or interesting to you, you will revert back to your comfort zone, right? What is the zone? The zone is the place where you are 100% focused on whatever you're focused on in the moment right now, okay? So we get to this place in language facilitation with kids when, all the blockages are open, which means that they are happy to listen to you in this moment. They are feeling good. They want to be with you. They are interested in sharing that space with you. Your child is interested. You can't push in to someone's zone. They'll just move their zone. Even a child may pretend to be listening or in their zone, but in their head, they're in their own zone, right? That's how kids who tolerate ABA or, things that they don't like, they tolerate people yelling at them, making them do things over and over, talk down to them, say things that they don't appreciate. That's how we all do that. We just go into our zone and go, that's not me. That's not affecting me. If you allow if you allow someone else to put down into your zone, then you feel bad. Okay? Children don't do that. They will always go toward action that will make themselves feel better. Fight or flight. Or attraction. Right? If I'm not attracted to it, I'm going to fight it or I'm going to run away from it. And anything that you present to your child that you want them to learn, it has to be in the zone so that your child is focused on the same idea that you are focused on at the same time. It's mandatory. Otherwise, literally, you're wasting your breath and your time because your child's mind is somewhere else. They know you can control their physical body to make them sit in a chair, come with you, hold their hand in the parking lot, not let them run away from you, keep them in their bedroom. They know physically they can do it, but no one is better than going into their own zone in their own mind than a late talking child, because all of their concepts in their head are visual. They don't have a language, an outward language to use to describe and hash over and review these things. They just think about pictures over and over and events in their mind. And when they are thinking about these events and ideas, and you are in the zone with your child, modeling the language for those ideas, then your child will listen and will want to learn that language. And if you are trying to push into their zone and teach them stuff when their zone is literally somewhere else, you will fail because your child is literally avoiding the teaching. So if you have a child who spends time in their own world, if they are avoiding you, it is because they don't want you in their zone or they don't like the zone that you are preparing. If you provide interesting opportunities that your child likes, like you fill up a swimming pool out back and you start filling it with water, your child's going to come. They're going to investigate. They're going to check it out. You're going to offer them some interesting way to interact with this opportunity that you give them. Then you're in the zone thinking about it together. But if your child wants to get in the water and splash, 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 and you want them to calm down, you've left the zone. You can attract a child into your area and shut them down and kick them out. They'll go right into their own zone. They'll enjoy the thing in front of you with you and not even engage at the same time together. It's parallel play. Okay? Do your thing, I'll do my thing. And you don't like that, right? You're, as a parent, you want to be directing your child. You want to be controlling your child. So you push in and you try to control them without getting their connection in the zone. And then they become resistant. That's what happens when parents don't appreciate the power of the zone. Because just as much power as it has to connect with your child so that you can teach them anything, they can shut the door on their zone even while you're looking at them square in the eyes. Think about it. You've done it before. Think about anybody you've had a conversation with that you were not benefiting from that conversation. They were yelling at you, judging you, talking down to you, saying something you already heard before. It was a boring lecture, whatever. You were not finding yourself benefiting from the conversation you're having with someone. In your mind, you're thinking about your grocery list. You're thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner. You're going to think about what your kid's doing now. And you'll smile and nod and maybe even take notes or come back to it periodically where you share the zone with that speaker for brief minutes. For many of you with your late talking child, that is your current situation. You might be spending fleeting seconds, 5 seconds here, 10 seconds there, 30 seconds there, 10 minutes while you're playing in the bathtub in the water together in the zone, that you're just not trying to force your child to do anything, but just talking about what's going on right there. Sharing the energy, sharing the idea, sharing the fun, sharing the agony, sharing whatever is in that idea, because the idea may change. Let's say you go out to the pool and your child gets in and the water's freezing cold and your child has an immediate meltdown because they were shocked by the cold and they feel a certain way. You're going to respond to your child and help them feel better and explain that you understand the water was cold. Oh no, you were too surprised. It made you angry. It made you sad. It made you scared. You were scared by that water. Oh, let me help you feel better. Right? You're not going to go fix the temperature on the water and reintroduce it to your child without talking about why they were upset, because when your child is upset, that's necessary communication. That's the stuff they need. Pool, fill it, water, too hot, all that stuff. And when you teach them all those words, that's what'll come out later. But if you're too busy worried about that needs-based stuff, you've turned off your teaching because you're too busy doing stuff, one activity to the next, or making sure your child does the activity your way, say these words this many times, use these sentences, no, it's not long enough, whatever you're trying. And most parents think, well, that's the only way a child's going to elevate their skills, right? If I force them to, yes, when they demonstrate something, expand it, make it bigger. That's a real strategy that parents use. But that is completely taking a child out of their zone. And you're forgetting and ignoring, really, the message that they are intending to communicate to you. I'm upset because you can't give me a cookie right now. I heard you 5 times, no cookie, no cookie, no cookie, no cookie. When are we going to talk about the fact that I'm upset about that? Because that's where my head is. I heard you loud and clear. I completely understand what you had, but my head is thinking about why I'm sad because I can't have a cookie. When are we going to talk about that? That's your child's zone. And when you start to think about that, put yourself always, the way you find out where your child is and where they're in their zone is, put yourself in their perspective. What are they seeing? What are they hearing? How are they feeling? And if you don't know, that means that you have spent a lot of time outside of the zone and trying to get your child to join your zone. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Your zone has to be so attractive that your child wants to come there on their own. And you have to be so non-invasive in your approach to your child that they have to allow you in their zone and trust that you're not going to try to change it, because their zone is their thing. They love it. They love it. They love it. That's why they do what they do, because they love it. And if you try to get in there and do new things and change their zone, they're going to resent you and they're going to avoid you and they're going to run away from you because they like their zone. It's theirs. It's their only space. It's their sacred space where they focus their attention. It's the best gift you can give anybody is your attention to them. That's why I can thank all of you, Liza and Oleana and Laura, all of you who are joining me now and watching this video, and that you've joined me in my group and you've watched me other places. All of you, I have tons of gratitude for you because you are allowing me in your zone, at least for a little while, and you're allowing me to join you there to think about these ideas that we're sharing together through the internet, right? Thinking about how can you adapt those ideas to your life? And how are you turning your situation into, wait a minute, I can improve, I can evolve, I can get into the zone with my child, and I'm not doing it now. But that's how evolution happens. That's how you improve. Okay. So it's all about the zone, everybody. When you're in the zone, and with the same idea at the same time with your child, then you know what language you'll need to teach them. And in other videos in my program, and when I work with everybody, I can teach you exactly how to talk when you're in the zone, based on your child's skill level, your skill level, the things you do every day, how many people in your family. That's why there's no set standard list of things that you say to your child. Because when you're in the zone with your child, the thing that you model, the words that you say out loud so your child understands, are their words. Look at this picture of this mom with this little girl. Like, they are sharing an idea. It might be the silliest idea. It might be like, who knows what they saw, but they get each other. And they're not even looking at each other. Their eyes are closed and they're laughing about the same kind of situation, right? But they are in the zone together. Now, you can be in the zone with your child without having eye contact. If you are still focused on the same thing, like let's say you're building a model together or you're cooking or whatever, think about the things that you do with other people, your partner, or the times that you have been with your child in the zone. Comment in this video. If you're watching live or watching on the replay, just comment and tell me a time that you feel really connected with your child. Because I promise you, just like I said about this zone, you are creating opportunities all the time that are interesting for your child to come and explore. Like I said about the swimming pool in the backyard. You're going to go set up these things that are interesting and enticing and exciting for your child, right? And invite them to come in. Your child's zone is interesting and exciting and sometimes even attractive, because you can tell that when your child comes to you, they want you in their zone. They're going to bring you in their zone when they're trying to communicate their wants and needs, for sure. And that's a no-brainer. But the other time they bring you into their zone is when they want to communicate their feelings to you and they want you to understand their feelings. So the zone could be a very snuggly experience where your child is telling you non-verbally how much they love you and they appreciate you and they love the things that you did for them that day. Or you could be in the zone where your child is extremely angry with you because you have made some massive change to their reality in the moment. And it might seem like a little thing to you, like turning off the TV or taking away the iPad. But for them, it was so colossal that their behavior reflects that. And they're throwing stuff and hitting you and meltdowns and all that stuff, right? That's your opportunity. Your child is communicating non-verbally that they are upset. If you blow it and just go ahead and try to ignore your child in that moment and just ignore what they're doing and either redirect them to something else or just tell them they have to get over it, you're missing the opportunity to get into your child's zone and teach them the language they need to communicate those feelings. That's how the zone works. You know how your child feels because they won't hesitate to try to make you get it. They will make you understand. So Oleana says, I can relate. I'm so glad for you guys to be seeing that. Some more people are joining me now. If you have a question today, you can go ahead and post it here in the comments about this zone. And if you have been in the zone with your child, where was it? A lot of kids like the zone in movement. A lot of kids like water, dancing, singing together, those things that just, there's no pressure. Like it'll be a situation when you didn't try to make them do anything, but that maybe you were doing something together. So it could be a highly active thing. Like let's say you're riding bikes together or walking together, something like that. You could have been in the zone. Or maybe, like I said, a quiet time, the morning when you first wake up, when you snuggle at first, your child's really connected to you. Or right before you go to bed. Think about that time when your child is really super interested in you and communicating to you their ideas. It's not always their needs. Yes, that happens too, but it is just all of their ideas. And it happens all day, every day. So the goal for this zone that you should have, number one, is to feel what it is. And that's why I asked you to make a comment so that you could stop for a second and really think about your time with your child. The time that you felt the most connected, the time that you felt the most understood by your child and your child was understood by you. Think about those times. What was going on? It could be a random situation that happened in your life. That's what I want you to really dig in and remember now. Use your conscious mind to think about that. Because here's the deal. I've now realized how many opportunities I've missed. Excellent. Walking and reading. Every single time your child wants you to know their messages, they're trying to get you into their zone. They're trying to get you to guess their messages. They do it on purpose because you've been doing it for their whole life. And it's movement. Liza likes movement. Walking and reading, it all depends on what your family likes. It's going to be different for everybody. But a lot of kids like movement, okay? So this is it. You want to increase. Here's the goal for you for this video is to increase your zone time from whatever it is right now, okay? You want to be increasing with a goal of 2 to 3 hours per day of connected moments. It doesn't have to be all in one setting. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes, 15 minutes. You're going to get it at first in little bits. But what you're going to find is when you realize you're in the zone, right there in the zone, you're going to remember, wait a minute, my kid's communicating this message and I'm going to give them the meaning. And you pay attention to see whether they stay or whether they leave. And if they leave the zone because they're not paying attention to you, just stop. Just stop what you're doing. Stop talking, stop reading, stop moving, stop whatever. And when you do stop that thing, you'll realize if your child was in the zone with you because they'll stop and look. And if they weren't in the zone with you, if they've already checked out mentally to what you're doing, and when you stop, they will just keep doing whatever they're doing because they weren't paying attention. That's how you know, that's how you can test it, to see if you're starting an activity and you see if you've lost your child, because they fade out of the zone without even telling you, you know? It's knowing when to stop. Yes. Go ahead and stop randomly. Stop mid-sentence, Oleana. Hey, Joey. And see what happened. Think about what happens if your child's playing in the room and the TV's on in the background, and you walk in the room and turn off the TV, your child turns. So they are listening and in the zone sometimes when they're not even looking with you, and they will pay attention when the stimulus that they enjoy that's keeping their comfort zone, when their comfort zone changes, poof, it stops. And then a new zone starts and their attention shifts. Kids' attention shifts every moment, okay? So this zone comes, everybody, if you're thinking about from how do you get there? How do you find it? Like I said before, it is when you are thinking and focusing on one thing at a time. What you are currently doing right now, not what you're going to do in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes later on, what you're cooking for dinner, what you did yesterday, what your mother said to you, whatever, your husband, you forgot. And we're all guilty, I'm huge guilty with this, of being literally in a moment doing a task, and in my head, my zone is somewhere else. How can I get the best effort I can with that task if literally my head is somewhere else thinking about something else? And people can say, I'm a great multitasker, and you may be, because most people have to be in the real world. I mean, especially moms, you're always thinking about more than one thing at a time. So this is your challenge, is to get out of that. Where else is my head? And get your head there with your kid right now in the zone, in this moment. And watch your child when you stop to see if they've shifted. You either shift with them or you let them go. If they invite you to shift and you follow them and to keep going, you've got it. But if they have left because they're done with you, promise you, they're done with you. They're not going to move on. Okay. So this is what controls this in us, this monkey mind, some people call it, that, where you just can't focus on one thing at a time. It is your ego. Okay. When I talk about ego, I talk about this part of you that is never satisfied. It's always looking to solve a problem. And if there's no problem in your life, your ego will create one, so that you are always evolving. That's what our egos are for. That's the part of us. But it is not us. The ego, whenever we're doing unconscious action, we identify too much with that thing that's trying to teach us, and not the real part of us, the real essence of who we are, the one that wants to connect with your child. How can you be in two different minds? One mindset is, I got to get my kid talking. The other is, I just want to connect with them. I just want to be with them. I just want to love them. I just want to whatever. But then your ego goes, yeah, but they're not talking yet. Yeah, but they're not doing this. Yeah, but they're not near. And you've got to do it in your job and your job and your job. Your ego will beat you up all day, every day, because it always is pushing you to do something that you're not, be somewhere that you're not right now. And your own self desires to be right here, right now. And when you are focused right here, right now, you can solve this problem right here, right now at your best. But you're not going to do well if you're thinking about what happened before or next week or any other time than right now. So when you're thinking about the zone, like you said, how do you know when to stop? How do you know when you're whatever? You're already thinking about something else. In the zone, you think about what you're doing right now. It is not the end. It is the means. It is every single step. If you have to reach and grab something off the counter, if you hand something to your child, if you take something from your child, just that action alone is in the present moment. I will take that from you. I will give it to you. We are doing this thing together. Okay, you'll know what to talk about, but it's not your child already knows outward what you are doing in the outside world. You are jumping on the trampoline, right? That's the outward stuff that is not what's your child's thinking in their head. They're not thinking, I am jumping on a trampoline. They're thinking, whoa, this is fun. I'm going higher. Mom, look at me. They're not thinking, I am jumping on a trampoline. You see them and your head is aware, my child's jumping on the trampoline, but you haven't put yourself in your child. You haven't got to the zone until you realize, what's he thinking right now? I'm thinking, there's my kid. I hope he doesn't fall down. Maybe I'm whatever. You're thinking, I hope, I wonder, maybe he will. Look at how cute that is. Whatever, compared to the last time you saw, or wow, he was jumping higher. He's better than he used to be. Right? You're always going into your analysis paralysis where whatever, and you're missing the zone where your child's like, woo wee, I want to do this more. And mom, come look at me and talk about the fact that my hair is flopping and I'm exhausted and I'm out of breath and I did the backflip and that was so cool. But you are jumping on the trampoline. Comes out because your child's not verbally telling you all that stuff. You're staying in the 3D, in the ego world that says, I need to teach him the language so that he understands how to talk about what he's doing right now and not what's in his head. Do you see the difference? It's a big deal when you get out of your, I got to teach him this thing. I got to pull him out. I. And your ego, it's when you identify with the role of your ego. It was not you. You are mama. It's still your ego part of it. You are your essence. You are the part of the universe that connects with every human being. But the roles you play, mama, wife, sister, husband, cousin, employer, speech therapist, that stuff is all outside of the zone. The zone changes for you and your own self. And when you are connected with someone else, it doesn't matter. The whole outside world dissolves because it's just about you together in the moment with your child in the zone. So unless you have a zone time, a lot of zone time, you're not going to have great language model opportunity because your child's not even listening. They're in their own. So that's why the zone is so important, everybody. Hopefully this was understanding to you. Let's see some of these other comments. People can relate. I'm so glad that you're all joining me today. Hopefully this will give you a little bit of enlightenment about how you're going about the strategies that I, talk about on my channel. They're not so nuts and bolts. They're not so, get out the flashcards, sit down, do 10 reps of whatever, 15 minutes a day. The best language facilitation happens in the moment, all day, every day, no matter what you're doing. It's all about this zone. It's all about doing whatever you do with your child together at the same time. And then you use your language facilitation where you provide the right words the right way at the right time. And if you want to learn the whole process, that's what I do. I teach parents how to move from whatever nonverbal communication you're using right now into the unprompted spoken language that your child already has inside of them. They understand, they know what these words are, but they don't have access to them and they don't know how to use them because their neurology is not completely developed yet. And you need to be able to do that. You can do that with language facilitation. That's what I train parents to do. So if you are interested in working with me and knowing more about language facilitation, you can find resources many, many ways. I wrote a book. It's called If It Isn't Fun, It Isn't Fun. Teach Your Child to Talk Faster Than Speech Therapy. It's available on Amazon and Audible. You can see that. Oh, it's weird with the green screen. So I wrote a book on Amazon. I have an independent study online course. It is on sale until June 1st. So this is the last week, the last 5 days, right? June 1st, the price goes up to $500. Right now, only $99. You can access it on my website, wavesofcommunication.com. And $99 for the independent study course. You can get the book on Amazon. You can follow me on YouTube. Even in the book, it shows you how to follow me and use independent study. And right now, if today and tomorrow is going to be the last day for you to get in on this $1,000 scholarship in my lifetime coaching program. So you can do that if you join my language facilitation resources group and you find the independent course that I'm doing right now, the week-long course I'm doing, it's there in the group. You'll see a post about it. Join the meeting tomorrow and let me know you're interested, and I will offer that scholarship to you. But I only offer this scholarship to people who are ready to make the change, who are ready to give up prompting, who are ready to stop doing the things that are outside of the zone, that are ego-driven things that you expect your kid to do, and shift as a language facilitator, mama or daddy or auntie or grandma or even speech therapist, from a needs-based drill, repetitive memorization techniques into unprompted, natural language facilitation that happens in the zone all day, every day. I train parents to shift their whole way of teaching in a lifetime program. And I do that at wavesofcommunication.com. You can learn more about it. Okay, everybody. That's enough for now. I have been at this, I'm into my second or third hour of coaching already today. And hopefully this information hit home for those of you, got you to think a little bit different about your approach towards language facilitation. And I will see you all next week right here on YouTube for another live video. Thursday over on Facebook, Monday on YouTube. And I'll see you all next time. Have a great Memorial Day week. This is Memorial Day here in the US. Hopefully some people are off and not working. I know a lot of people are not working, but enjoy this time that you have, that your kids figure out your time to find you in the zone. So thanks everybody again for giving me your attention. I'm very grateful for that. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.